So hi everyone, and welcome to another Exploring Consciousness. Welcome, mankind. We've got men, yes. Welcome, womankind. Women power, men power, empowered people. This is what today is all about. It's all about empowerment. And this is what I'm just saying, it took me ages to come up with it because that's what this group is actually really about, right? It is about empowerment.
Yeah.
Always has been. Getting out of victimhood, getting out of aggressor, and coming back into empowerment. And that's why I almost overlooked it. Because today is about empowerment, and it's about vision, right? So we're going to, and what better way of sort of ending the year? We might have another one next week anyway, but what better way of ending a year by looking at empowerment? And we're going to couple that with vision. And that's actually more or less what I want to use this opportunity here. Look, there's still lots of teachers out there. Lots of teachers have, I wouldn't say retired, but they've drawn back because, this is really a time where we have to go within and look at our own levels of empowerment. But we are still here, right? And the reason is because we are not here to tell people predictions. Yeah, what is the world going to look like or anything like that. We are just going to find out for ourselves what is out there, what is the new earth that everyone is talking about, where going to look like whilst we're going through this transitioning time, right? And also the other thing is, what better time to use to get a bit more clarity of that vision just before the 21st of December now. So we've done already a little bit on the solstice, but today is like, it's really allowing ourselves to intuit, to look what that new earth is going to look like for us. What are the contributions that we've already been giving and doing and contributing, but just bring it out a bit more into the open, into our own acknowledgement, because there's so much stuff that we do and we never acknowledge it. And then we sometimes lose the connection to it, right? So this is what this is all about today. And of course, I have no particular plan in terms of how we're going to do this, but there is this thing about intuition. And I looked up, as I do, I've got one of those lovely books here. So what the life stories of 12,000 words. So we're not going to run out of it, but intuition. And that's where the connection comes in with the vision that we're going to look at today. Yeah. So intuition is defined here. It is from late Latin, hold on a second. Into late Latin, intuere. Yeah. So consider or contemplate. The formative elements are in upon, intuere, to look. Intuition. It's not about being right. It's not about being wrong. It's not about false or correct or anything like that. It's all about just allowing ourselves to look, to working with that intuition. And, lots of people look with their guts, lots of people look with their hearts, with their eyes, whatever you want to look at, it doesn't really matter. The thing is, allowing yourself to voice it and having the trust in yourself. It doesn't have to be right or wrong, because, think about it, truth is a very subjective thing. Everyone has different ideas depending on how we are looking, what eyes are we looking through, how are they conditioned what is our background? And we don't have to go into galactic background or anything, but I would like to look into this reality, into other realities, because all of that information is available for us now, right? And we have sight. We're all part of this God particle. We all got that. Just like Irina said in the beginning, it's like we can all do this. And it might be just one word that any of you says, any of us says, that triggers something. It might even be the opposite that gets triggered by you saying a word, and you think, oh, fuck that, no, that's not it, but it's that. And this is where the contribution starts. So let's, first of all, I want to say contribution, this is part of, if you can't think of any contribution that you are to this new earth, yes, if you're here right now, you are a contribution. And even if you don't open your mouth in any of those shows, just by showing up and holding space, being the energy, you are the contribution already. Okay. And there will be lots and lots and lots of other things we can discuss. And before we get started with that, I just want us to make a conscious choice here to just let go of the propaganda. Yeah. All the propaganda, all the blah, blah that's going on outside ourselves, whatever other people say, whatever they not say, where they are, what they're doing. Let's just let go of that. And that's really just a choice like this. And in addition to that, I'll invite you to let go of your personal propaganda as well. And that, of course, includes our conclusions and our decisions and choices that keep us stuck in a certain agenda. So let's go, let go of all the agendas. And all we need to do is just choose it right now. We don't need to even know what those agendas are, where they come from, which lifetime, doesn't really matter. Let's just let that go as well, so that we have clear sight in what this new earth is going to look like and what is our contribution to that. Now, I'll leave it up to you. What do you want to let's get started first, maybe with the contributions, right? What are we contributing, have been contributing, but also contributing right now to this new earth? And in order to make it slightly easier for us to acknowledge things, because it's always difficult to acknowledge your own stuff. So the question is, if I speak to a very good friend of yours, yeah, what would that friend tell me about your contribution to this new earth, to this new bubble of reality? That might not be the same bubble as somebody else, but to your bubble, to this new earth that you are perceiving. What would that very good friend tell me about you and your contribution? And whoever wants to kick that off, please do, and take note, because some of those contributions, some people will bring up, you're doing too. You just forgot about it, or you haven't acknowledged it yet, or you may think, oh, this is nothing. Yeah. Robin, you want to kick it off?
Actually, I was waving hi, but sure. I think if I went to some of my old friends, and having been the second child of teenage parents, we moved a lot. So I've had a lot of neighbors and a lot of friends in my life. But what really strikes me is that no matter how long it's been since I've seen them, we're still friends. And I think, and thinking back to some of those people that, during the school days, before the higher education, I think if we brought those old friends back, I think most of them would probably say that they see me as a talented person, but a very kind person. Maybe somebody who talks too much at sometimes and probably keeps my mouth way too shut other times. So I think kindness, bringing kindness is probably would be a similar theme, maybe. So there's my kickoff.
Okay, well that's thanks for that, kicking it off. Of course, this is not good enough, all right?
Of
We want
course.
to know a little bit
This
more
is a
about.
group. This is not Robin. This is a
No. You know what I mean. Give us a bit more. Kindness is such a big picture. What does it mean? How are you kind?
All right. You asked me specifically or in general to everybody?
To you. We want to know what is your personal
So
contribution.
kindness to me would be acting and doing without any thought of what it might bring. When I was teaching at-risk kids, and one of the neighborhood kids brought a knife into the school, you know, I didn't think anything about it. I just grabbed the kid's shirt tails and started dragging them along. You know, I mean, kindness is, to me, is acting to assist someone, to when you hear that call and you respond to whatever it is the flow is bringing to your attention, that, you know, by acting in kindness, it helps another person. You know, perhaps they look like they're having a hard time today, and, you know, I can feel the dragging of their energy and see the sadness within them. And so, you know, spirit, that higher vibrational me steps in and says, you know, do you see this? And so then at that point, I would step forward and would say something that would speak to their heart, you know, that they would know that I'm not just blowing words and making small talk. I'm seeing you. I'm addressing you, you know, you right here in front of me right now. And I'm willing to allow and to join the ethers to give you whatever you need right now. So
that's beautiful. And why did I pick you up on that? Because what you've just been saying, you know, is 4 more things, right? That you were hiding in your kindness. That was a big, I've got allowance, and help me out, guys, if you find some more. I got allowance. That's a big contribution, right? To the
yeah,
new.
yeah.
People
People are never, rarely do you find others that allow you to be you. Rarely.
Yeah.
Rarely.
That is, of course, it's a kindness, but it's much more than that to be acknowledged. Present, you're present with people. Oh my God, what a contribution is that? Being present with people, actually speaking to them without having projections and expectations and all that crap in the back of your head. You're actually listening and hearing to them and hearing what they're saying. That's a big contribution, because what does that mean is that you have to trust yourself to think on the spot, right? And what was the other thing? You're seeing other people by being present. That's what I picked up from what you just said. What did you guys pick up from that? What else is Robin's contribution she hasn't even acknowledged yet by throwing us the bone of kindness?
My vision. Oh, Shobha, go ahead.
Yeah, I just lost it. It was something that touched me so much with what Robin said. And it was like to be honest with herself, really, with what she's saying.
Be honest
So
with us.
that commitment to be honest with your own truth and speak it.
Yes, that really this week has been being reflected back really much more. I'm going to use the example of mirrors. You've all seen like the old mirrors where the image may be distorted or moved a little bit, and then you go to a more modern day mirror where the silvering is pretty solid and you see a crisp reflection. It's you know, it all depends, you know, it's not all the same.
Fabulous, yeah.
Glass is liquid.
What's that? Liquid?
Glass is liquid.
Yes, yes, yes. Like moving sand, flowing sand.
Very cool.
Liquid quartz, maybe.
Shobha, do you wanna carry on with that and tell us
Yeah.
what your contribution is, and then we go to Irina and carry on.
Yeah, I feel there's a strength that give and put out. And yet that strength is quite fluid in its own way. It's not unbreakable. And especially the times right now with what's happening in my little village that I observe that's happening around. And being a foreigner here, and yet as a woman, holding on to my business really, and yet being open to whoever comes in, and finding a certain gentleness within myself that I'm quite surprised about, because it was always having to be that strong, heavy. And yet I'm finding there's a tremendous compassion that's bubbling up at the moment, because being confronted with so many things, and it's like that idea I had of myself is in these last months being torn up and having to be completely revised. Because previously you could say life was a little bit more static and there were assumptions one could make for the future. And that here has been totally thrown out the window. And within that, it's suddenly like the theory of what I've understood about who I am has been thrown out. And it's like, okay, who are you? And its life is just throwing so many amazing things at the moment. And sometimes it feels like that movie Minority Report. Remember when the guy's doing like this? It's like all this stuff is coming in, and it's like that one out, this one in, this one in. Who am I? Where am I? Is that true? Is that real? Out, start again. And there is such a movement. It's like sometimes I get home and I just want to go and sit in the garden and look at a tree and say, I'm in.
Fabulous.
And that's how it is. It's like all these concepts and ideas essentially out the window at the moment.
What better place to be here than right now? Being here right now, that's what I meant to say, is where we can pick up all those reframings, because what you were just saying is you're reframing what strength is and finding the strength in the vulnerability, finding the strength in the true receiving, the good, the bad. Being a foreigner in a different country, lots of us know what that it's like, right? And without a good level of allowance and receiving, it's not going to be easy. But once you step into that full receiving and that allowance, what Robin brought up as well, and then also especially like you said, and I just want to say something here with regards to foreigners in a different country. I've come from Austria, and Austrians are bitches, yeah, especially where I came from. I'm power, independent at the time, right? And then I come to the UK. People were scared shitless. The men in the oil industry, very scared. The way to really start contributing was to be vulnerable. And that, being a woman, a young woman in the male-dominated industry, was the best thing I could have ever done. Show your vulnerability. Don't try to be a man in a male-dominated industry. You've chosen a woman body. You're gorgeous. Allow yourself to see the strength in the vulnerability. Fabulous. Now, all these things, remind yourself of all everything that we're saying that's coming up. And this is why we ask the question first, because once we do look into what we want this new earth to be, And when we look what it is possible to be, these things will keep coming back, right?
Mhm. If I could, you know, listening to the two of you speaking, one of the things that I'm reminding and I'm envisioning and is that new era of now where within all of us, that divine feminine principle is being asked to come back out and to express itself more honestly, more balanced, you know, as part of that creative unit, you know, that divine desire, that divine will, that manifestation, those three like heartbeats to bring forth. And so all of us are, you know, regardless of whether we're in the male or the female genitalia, we're all being asked to bring forth that part of us, that feminine, that can bring the seed forth. You know, we have that seed that can bring forth a new life. And so all of us to honor that, and especially for those of us who are in the female body this time, who may have been coming with very strong determinations or continence or gifts or whatever it is, and may have felt, you know, that we had to do or be, and maybe come off feeling more masculine or you know, and stopping ourselves and saying, well, that's just part of me, and now I'm being asked to bring forth that divine feminine part of me too. So for females, we're being asked, I think, even more so to, in this new world, to embrace our own divine feminine and allow that ability to co-create and to bring forth seeds and to nurture others and to honor our own beauty, as Martina said. You know, I think that you guys are setting up a great premise of one of the real big bedrock foundational things that can make this new weaving, this new tapestry, a more beautiful, delightful, you know, vibrating field of
Absolutely.
existence.
Absolutely. Hold on to all of that. And then we're going to, once we start looking, what's the new world look like? We're already do you know what's interesting? Just as we discuss our contributions, there's already clarity coming in what this world's going to look like. If we look beyond the propaganda, yeah? So the propaganda veil curtain is lifted here. Over to Irina. Thanks, Robert.
I want to talk about Shobhas' message. When she was sharing, I was hearing and listening to her message. And what I was hearing, it was message about stopping time. In her experience, she stopped time. At least this is what I hear from her sharing. She stopped time of this 3D roaring flow of minutes and seconds and hours and days. It's like stopping that time, and she got moment of returning to our another existence as universal us. We today playing this games, this experience having as human beings, but we never stop to be universal beings ever. And we exist on many, many levels in universal term. So this is what I was hearing from Shobhas' message, from her sharing. She started to experience and embodying, returning back to that universal her. And it's all message to all of us. We can now start to practice at least being in two places at once. Yeah. Yes, we are unlimited beings, we exist everywhere, but we just conscious about this part of our existence. at least we were conscious about this part of our existence for a long time, just this part. But now this is what we're returning. This is what I was hearing from Shobhas sharing. We are returning now that possibility to be at least aware and conscious about two places. I am as a human being and I am as universal being. Yeah, we will open more and more that understanding universal, who I am, universal being. But at least just to start. This is what I was hearing. Thank you very much. Very nice contribution. It's kind of like relating to my contribution. What I see, I'm contributing today to this world in this timing. I found my connection to universal flow. And the moment I found my connection to me, universal as everything, I never stopped to be connected to that. And this is what I'm sharing with world and with people who find me, how to start to be in these two places, how you can live your life being connected 24/7 to this to you, at least to you. Like I'm saying that you universal, it's a very complex you, very complex. It's just start to unfold, but it's good beginning. Not just being present in this time, in this flow of minutes and seconds and days that we created to have 3D experience, but already being in that no time, like AB saying, yes, who we are, and at the same time being in this I am experience minutes and seconds. This is kind of like I see my contribution, that I'm holding that possibility to share with humanity, and it's my experience day to day.
Fabulous. So I'm not, I just want to add something to that. Yeah. What I'm hearing is embodied spirituality and really starting to understand the transcendence of time in the present moment, the simultaneous living in the present moment, which is definitely going to be part of the new earth, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to say to Sean, the question is, we're looking at what is our contribution to the new earth that we've been doing, that we've been empowering ourselves towards, or that we've been already doing, we're planning to doing right now. And a good way of looking at it is, what would people, anyone from here, we can even play it that way. What do we know about Sean? What do we know about, Tanya? How is she contributing? But go look at yourself for the time, for a moment. What would the friend tell me? Somebody who knows you really well. What would he or she tell us about any of you? I'm not putting you on the spot, but that's the question. That's what we're playing with. And then we're looking at these attributes of contribution. What is already happening? What has already been implemented in the new world? Can we see it? Can we perceive it, as we're dropping all that curtain? Who has spoken?
I have something to say. So I love that you have been talking about Irina and Shobha talking about time and this kind of like rhythm of time. And I did one of Andrew's time revocations yesterday, and today I've been following the galactic calendar, the Mayan calendar, for over 20 years now, and there's these cycles of time that happen. And today is the start of a 10-day energetic portal in the galactic calendar. It's the World Bridger Day, right? So everybody in the world connecting, this energy together. And this 10-day portal will also include the full moon. It will include the solstice, and it ends on Christmas Eve. And I think a lot of people have been talking about the 12/12 portal also, which started on Sunday and then goes to the solstice. So we're in this really wonderful like space of time where there's this like expansive endlessness. And I like what Irina was saying about connecting with that multidimensional, timeless self. And as teachers and healers, well, for myself, I think I like to remind my clients and my students that they have the ability to be in that space of timelessness, and looking at those cycles of Mother Earth. And I mean, I think it's a lot also, with the Native American teachings of getting close to the land and feeling the cycles, the rhythms of the winter and the spring and the fall, and how we do, ceremony in those, like those important times to create energy, but also to envision what we want to see on the earth, right? I think of it as kind of like creating my own personal Garden of Eden, right? And allowing that energy to work like the pebble in the pond, and ripple out from my bubble of reality, right? And anyone who chooses to kind of like play in that zone is welcome, right? And even if they don't, right? Maybe just being present, or walking next to me at the grocery store will help shift that energy a little bit, right? Help them slow down, or when you make eye contact with a person you don't know, right? It's like that spark of humanity. And sometimes people are in their own space and they can't see that, but I always try to be, in that space of multidimensional being, and grounded and present, and yeah, and have fun with it, right? I think we all get so serious about our spiritual journey sometimes that I really love to bring that sense of humor, right, into kind of like the seriousness.
What a great contribution that is, humor, making other people laugh, being present, but also I like what you said with this world bridger, being a world bridger, because you've touched a topic of which is so important, which we often not think about. It's finding the extra in the ordinary, finding the magic in the daily doing, the daily being. And it doesn't have to be. And this, I love that, because, we're talking about contributions to the new world. It's a big bloody thing, right? But what you just said, Tanya, that is it. Even you saying, I've just done the time revocation. Well, that's a contribution, right? That's a huge contribution, because as you change your consciousness levels by doing that, and then you walk up, and you go and buy yourself a newspaper, the way you are interacting with the energies, that's a huge contribution, right? This is the thing. It all
I
starts
love
in the
this
backyard.
cycle. Looking at just this these cycles of time, and getting out of that Roman numeral time and realizing there's a different way to look at time, right? For each of us. And sometimes we get lost in the work, we get lost in the creative work. I know I've been seeing a lot of Jen's drawings, flashing by on Facebook, and really appreciating, seeing her creative hand. And I was thinking, gosh, how can something that you're creating also take you out of that time, thinking about time, right? And the work that Shobha does also with the gems and the jewelry, right? That just pops you into a totally different creational time zone.
Transcending time again, isn't it? You as an artist, time, you don't even have to say it's an illusion. You just become it. It's actually, you become time, right? You start embodying it, and then there's nothing to talk about it. There's nothing to, you just everything, like Irina said as well, you're just there and there and there and there. Yeah.
It's funny how you brought up that bridge. It's like, I just watched a really cool movie called Green Snake last night, and it's like a Chinese cartoon that just came out, like a mythological movie. And essentially it just has all these people who get put into this pocket dimension because they had unresolved karma, or like something they couldn't let go of. So it's all these people from different eras of light, just different eras through time, and they all got to resolve this karma. And there's this giant dragon, then there's a point where the dragon's about to eat its own tail, and that's how they get out of it. They gotta climb the tail and jump back into the mouth, and kind of create that circuit of infinity going on.
Speaking of dragon.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah,
There it is.
just that big cycle of like, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, Alfredo is saying that he's going to leave soon. Do you want to tell us?
I got a few more minutes.
Do you want to tell us what you are contributing to this world, to this new world? Because we don't know.
Right now, right now it's just simplicity, like simplicity at the highest levels. Like, I've been reconnected with my health is wealth motto. This is something like I've always been promoting this forever. Like, health is wealth. Like, I've always been around, wealthy people. Like, they got all the money in the world, but they're drinking hard. Like, to me, that health is wealth. I'm at the healthiest point I've been, and like, probably last week I recognized it when I was looking in the mirror. I was like, just looking at myself, I was like, holy shit, like, I haven't been this healthy in like a decade. I was like, so me, it's just holding this in immense light. Like, that's been my contribution to everything around me. Because like I was saying last week, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to say anything. It's just me just being there, just being that light. And everybody that comes around me, they just feel fucking amazing. They feel good. And like, I know when I go on vacation, I'm gone, and then I come back, everybody's like, oh, Fredo, we're so fucking happy to see you. Like, the amount of gratitude, just like, it just showers me. So I just know that just me just holding my light, being healthy as fuck, like, that's just like the highest contribution I can add to this new universe, like holding this high, this immense light. And my heart's racing just talking about it. But I feel like that's the biggest contribution I can do, period. Just health is wealth, holding my high vibrational light, and just eating healthier every day. Like, just adding, because I always think about what Martina said, like, what can you add to your life? And I think about, I was like, what can I add to my life? I was like, well, the first easiest thing I could do is add healthier foods, eat a little bit of kale there. I'm gonna bring this guy up because he's been like the biggest inspiration to me right now. So like, I always get into these trends because when I'm in, around health foods, like I always see the trendy foods that happen, like, oh, why, how come everybody's buying celery? Oh, because there's articles released about celery prevents cancer. Like, how come everybody's buying marrow? Because everybody's like, oh, we're on the bone marrow bandwagon. And then I've been noticing a lot of people buying liver. Like, I was like, how come everybody's buying liver? I come to find out there's this guy, you can look up him on Instagram. He's just a huge inspiration. I don't even have to like listen to him too much, just seeing this guy on Instagram. His name is Liver King, and he's this dude. He's eating like raw liver, raw cow testicles, like raw bone marrow. You have to do this stuff, but it's just like, this dude, look him up on the internet. He just looks ridiculous, and he's like promoting ancestral, like going back to like the way we used to do things, the way human beings used to live. And he's been the biggest inspiration to me. He's like, this guy's doing everything I'm doing to the next fucking level, and like, he's holding an immense like fucking like ancestral powerhouse of light, like, and he's inspired me to like want to also be that too. So that's my biggest contribution. I cut it short because I want to hear everybody else talk to, and I only have like a few more minutes, but I gotta attend this other Zoom call. But
Thanks.
Holding the light, holding the light,
and holding the light, and you know what?
Spreading it.
It's not just, yeah. Let go of that word just. Holding the light is one of the biggest bloody things you can do. Yeah. And we all remember when there was a time where you said, oh, I can't have people get close to me because they're taking my energy and all of that. That's out the window now. So
Yeah.
just really acknowledge how far you've come holding this light business, right?
I've been thinking about it, Martina, because I've been like so paranoid, like, oh, everybody's getting in my energy field. Everybody wants to touch me. It's like, you know what? I'm going to do the contrarian point of view. I'm going to think about what Andre said. It's like, okay, y'all want to touch me? I'm going to start giving people fucking hugs, because I used to do this all the time when I was young. I used to give everybody fucking hugs. And I quit doing it because I was like, I don't know. Whatever happens, like, I'm just like, you know, you want to touch me? Give me a motherfucking hug, dude. I fucking love y'all. Like, I'm just being more open and vulnerable than I've ever been in a long time. I'm just like,
I think you should
I'm
start
coming out, you know.
charging. You should a hug, $1 a hug. Come on, start charging. Make it into business. Come on. This is the real. This is when you know that you've arrived. When you have the guts to charge for it, right? Because then there is no loss in energy in the exchange. Yeah, and that's you know. I can't joke, but the idea is exactly that. So, but what you are actually saying here is leading by example. You're doing this for yourself, right? And just see what that does. So is the new earth, what's the new earth going to look like? Is it full of like Alfredo's? They look after their health and they create wealth and they hug and everything. And you know, all of a sudden everyone else wants the same. What's he doing? What's he eating? What's he that? Leading by example. What a contribution. What a contribution. So thank you.
Absolutely.
And
I love you guys.
Smile, you know.
Oh, well, I gotta go, guys. But I love y'all. Just
all right, darling. Thanks very much for your contribution.
Keep bringing the light. Thank you.
Yes. So who's next? Who's next?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Can I say something? Thanks, Alfredo. The new mantra, holding the fucking light. Absolutely love it. Big hug.
Absolutely, yes. So we lost Caitlin. I think she had to go as well. But I saw something. There was a message. She might be back. And we had a little message from friends tell me that I'm calming, wise, joyful, and be around. That's Nicola. So thanks hiding behind the owl. That's fine. Thank you very much for your contribution to this new world, right? Absolutely. Who's next? Share your contributions. Be specific. Yeah. Let me just pop in here and say something. So my contribution, I've thought about this obviously since we are talking about it. I'm thinking, okay, well, what am I actually doing at the moment? Well, we're doing this, right? So everyone, single one of us, this is a huge contribution to the new earth. No matter how many people we have participating. Yes. Lots of people are watching it. And even if they don't, we're working this for the unseen as much as we do for the seen. So that's number one from my contribution. I'm a huge space holder, obviously, you know, that comes with the facilitation that I do, empowering other people. That's what I've done all my life because I had to learn it myself. Writing the new book, that's what I'm doing at the moment. You know, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, I forgot about that. Yes. How many hours to spend doing that? You know, that's all part of it. So be specific. Yeah. I mean, spending time with my daughter. I got thrown out when I was 19. She's 22, still here. Yeah. Having that, this is healing the lineage. Yeah. My female lineage is so messed up. And having a good relationship with my daughter now and, you know, supporting her through whatever she's doing now, that is huge. Supporting my partner to be doing what he's doing. Don't underestimate the importance, the significance, and the potency of being a space holder like we've already, lots of us are. Many of us are. So it's not necessarily, the drawings that I do. Yeah, all of it. Who else wants to share? What are your contributions that are going to create the new earth and already are creating the new earth? Jen?
a lot of what everybody has already said, you know, trying to help other people open their minds through drawings, through, you know, pictures of the stars, things that make people see the magical and the mystical that's always around us. Smiling at a stranger that looks like they're having a hard time, you know, like Robin was saying, sharing kindness and just letting people know that somebody else is there. Being authentic without being too much in people's faces, where they can receive information and impressions without being triggered by them. Definitely trying to shed my programs so that I can release anything holding me back and keeping me from doing things that I want to do. And then something that maybe hasn't been said yet is giving back to earth now. So gardening, taking care of the animals around my yard, supporting earth as she is now, so that she still holds that love in the new earth.
Fabulous. Supporting earth, we're all stewards of the earth.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you have to work with the soil, but you know, that, thanks for that, because I keep forgetting that. Yeah, we are, just by taking a walk in the park, the contribution. Let's not forget that. You know, we've seen it in lockdown. I've seen it. My park is 5 minutes from here. Huge park. The very beginning, when people weren't allowed to go in, the first time you went in, it's like, whoa, what's going on here? The energies were almost like, whoa, we need people, you know, we need to interact. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Wild energies. Yeah. It's like the same thing when you have a house and you don't live in it. How quickly does it start crumbling down, right? It's that interaction. Thank you, Jen.
I think, you know, during lockdown last year, I live in San Francisco, in case nobody knows that, but there were, you know, coyotes trotting down the street. And my neighbor actually saw a wild turkey on my block, a block away. Thought, what? Yeah, so that wild energy, you know, when the cars went down and the people stayed in, the animals came out to play.
They definitely did up in my area. I'm kind of a rural area anyway, and you know, you'd think that there's probably about 1/10 of the population because everybody's stacked up hidden behind the trees, you know, and so you don't even know that they're there. But the one thing I did notice was the wildlife presenting itself much more than usual. And your comment about the turkeys, you know, I'm giggling about it because this year I must have recorded about 3 or 4 different groups, like family groups of turkeys, and they had huge clutches. I mean, they must have had 20, 30 children with them, you know, and it was just, you know, amazing to just sit there and be part of it and know that you're witnessing just a normal part of Earth, you know, that in the city or in other situations you'd have no idea existed, you know. So thanks, Tanya.
So let's look at this. Let's mix it up here. So we can do both at the same time. Okay, so let's do this. As we're looking at our contributions and as we're talking about them at the same time, because we can, right? Tanya just said we can transcend all this time, and Irina, and we know that we can. So look at, how is this, just as we're talking, how is this already creating or remembering? What's already, just by us talking about those animals now coming out, we're going, what does that tell us about the new earth? What is the new earth going to look like by us remembering that and co-creating with it? What is the new earth going to look like that we haven't considered yet?
Like it's just that return of playful energy. So it's just like oh my God, what's his name? Anthony? Who just left? But just
Alfredo.
like Alfredo, thank you. Just like hugging again. It's like when's that time in our life that we gave up touch and hugging and playing tag and doing all this playful stuff? Kind of like a return to that. Like all those things that we we left to protect ourselves, but now we no longer have to protect ourselves. Now we just play with each other all the time and, you know, co-create with each other, doing cool stuff.
So let's say we are the most spiritual teachers out there. We have access to everything. We know everything. And somebody's asking us, what's the new earth going to look like? Projections onto the new earth. How easy is it to look at it? Well, what's the world going to look like? Will we still have wars?
Well, my landlord just dropped off a Christmas present, and there's going to be more presents being dropped off because it feels like it's a bunch of chocolates and mulberry jam. It's like more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going to happen to wars? We're probably moving away from that. We're not going to go into, well, just like everything, even now we can take that down to our bodies. Fight and flight system will become obsolete, right? Now we all bloody psychic, just making that connection. Yeah. By hugs, look at hugs. What impact is that going to have on the technology, on healing technologies, right?
When you hug for 20 seconds, you get an oxytocin release.
Exactly.
20 seconds is a long time to hug someone. So next time you hug someone, count it out, count out that 20. You'll be like, okay, I'm going to just keep going when that person tries to pull away.
And yeah, watch what comes up.
Yeah.
I had a friend who passed away this year. She was a hugger. When she hugged, I'm thinking, oh, come on, how long is this going to take? You know, I was like, you know, and now I wish you'd be there. I could fucking argue for an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, and isn't it always our responsibility to receive that too?
Well,
Right.
exactly.
So you want to wrestle, huh?
Exactly. It's all a receiving issue. I dealt with a lot of, when you come from forced receiving to just receive a hug, it's like, whoa, I couldn't even kiss my dad or get a kiss. Well, that wasn't the thing anyway. So you're absolutely right. I had to learn all of that and touch. So what's the new world going to look like? Come on, give us a prediction. Be one of
I see new world as pockets of possibilities, places of possibilities. It won't be unified in experience. It will be places of possibilities. Like you go in a mall and you have different stores with different possibilities for experience. This is how I see Earth. So we will have possibility to move through any places, and like you already guys said, and you Martina said, no wars, really no competition in that term, fighting for something better, something worse. It's just possibilities of experience. This is what I see.
Fantastic. Let's stay with that specific, you know, go into your imagination, go into your sight, into your insight. What do you see?
I see one of possibilities to experience beauty in all natural ways, natural in connection to Earth, no technology at all, just natural beauty and natural technology that will invoke inside of us our technology, inner technology, not external, but inner technology. And we will create a lot of psychic experiences in those places. We will remember how to fly, how to, I don't know, relocate, how to ship-shaped, all that thing. Another thing just came, another place that will give possibility to reconnect with ancient types, not types, ancient animals, ancient magic creatures, you know, those mystical creatures, bringing them from inner Earth into those places and just have experience with them and remembering how we had that experience before. Because if you can invoke those beings, those creatures, now in your existence, you had experience with those beings before. This is what I see another place. It just came.
Fantastic. Now let's just,
I-
just 1 second. Let's just turn it round. We just said, what is your contribution? What can you see through the contribution? Now let's turn it round. What Irina just said. Now who is already seeing that? Look, I want to use Jennifer here as an example, because where do you think this is all coming from? All these drawings. Well, she's already there.
Well, I can say from my my side, like I live like a 1 hour, 30 minutes from the city, New York, at state. And then this year I have seen so many deer, even when you're driving in the center of the town, you know, like the whole family. I went to show a house last week. And then when we got to show the house, there was like a family, the deer there in the patio. It was, and the buyer was so amazed. I said, oh my God, look at the deer. So happy to be that, you know, experience that. It was and the how inspector said, that's the mother. You see how she protects their kids, you know. And he was playing, it was so beautiful because they would just stay there. They don't run away when it's in the woods, like kind of integrating. We ask when we gather to the house. And then I see it more frequently everywhere, every time, you know, they're coming out. And that's why I feel like Lina said and Robin, I really feel the compassion for myself. And then at the same time, looking the balance, because sometimes myself looking that compassion, maybe I go the extra that I'm not supposed to, or have the compassion on myself at the same time. And see everybody that we are in this challenge life, and everybody's suffering somewhere and somehow. And just seeing the people in the supermarket, like I mentioned before, just smile. And then I remember one of the cashier, she was telling me that she had to work in double job because she had to pay some money, that she did a mistake sometime. And I felt so much compassion for that lady, that I feel that connection. I said, I hope everything coming better for you. And she says, yeah, yes, thank you so much. I'm going to make it. I even remember her name, Betty. I said, Betty, I'm looking forward that you have better life, and I really feel compassion for you. I said like that, just from my open heart. And the first time I saw her, it was amazing. And then when I was leaving, she told me, do you get your free ham? I said, no, I don't know. I said, no, yeah, you can go. And, you know, they give you every Thanksgiving, they give it to the customer a ham, so you can go pick it out in the back. It was like a transformation. This lady was so sadness, and then suddenly she was like a bride. And then it just because I felt so much for you. I'm sorry. It hurt my heart to hear that. It was a lady maybe in the 65 or almost close to the 70-year-old. I had to work in double job. And, you know, it was so much compassion for me, for her, that it was like I saw her face changing when I said that word. My heart hurt listening that you have to work double job, hoping that you can change your life soon. And then she looked at me, and it was like a completely connection right away. And that's why I'm looking for, that we have compassion on another, that we have to remember that we just here in this play game, and that everybody doing the best they can with whatever they have. And then looking for that, and family with kids, I see it, I smile, and just like connected with them.
Thank you very much for that, Herminia, for bringing that up, because that kind of energy, if you just listen to her, if you don't even listen to the words, that energy, yeah, that compassion energy is the next level of empathy. Yeah, we've moved from being empathetic into unsympathetic and all of that, where we're giving away our energy. We're moving into the compassionate place where we actually, that community feeling, that sharing, that, you know, working together without actually inhibiting our energies at the same time. So thanks for that. Now, can we, when we now look, again, let's take that contribution, let's take that thought process and take it into the new earth. Can we see it there? It's almost like, can we then say, if we now use different words for it, we turn it around again and say, can we say that corruption is on the way out?
Yes.
Separation is on the way out. You see, you don't have to be a hugely psychic person. You just got to
Yeah.
look at yourself and put 1 and 2 together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a saying, brother, sister, I know you are suffering, I suffer too, everybody's suffering, let's get together and then just unite it, because all the boundaries that we have is just the illusion that we have trapped here.
From a place of co-creation and compassion. Yeah. No longer from superiority and separation and, and that kind of, that energy. So, Lana, what is your contribution? What do you see in this new earth?
I just wanted to say hi to everybody. I was listening to all of you very quietly here, and I want to say that I agree with what everyone's saying. The contribution that everyone's bringing in, I also share a part of that. And my contribution that I feel is being here with you, Martina, on a weekly basis. And you've known this, that I've been here, not from the very beginning, but quite close to the very beginning. Even though in the beginning I didn't say anything. And just being here holding space, even when there've been weeks where there's just a few of us on the Art Nouveau Hub, but you still make the show happen. And I like to think that I bring my energy to hold that space with you and whomever else will show up. So that's one thing that I feel like I've been contributing to help this Art Nouveau Hub remain a place for others to come and gather and share their thoughts and experience on a weekly basis. So that's one of the things I feel like I'm holding space, and not only in the hub, but in life in general. And I feel like I've been contributing this for a long time, and I feel that sometimes people will come to me, friends or family would come to me, and they would share with me in a very polarized manner if they're having a problem with someone, whether it's their spouse or friend or family. And I always found that I never would take sides for either side, either their side or the person they're talking about. And it's something that I felt that I've sort of practiced not to take sides, because it doesn't come easy. You can get very polarized when you're listening to a loved one talk about someone else that you hardly know or may know. And it's hard to not be polarized at times with something they may be telling you about someone else. And so this is a skill that I feel that is something that we have to practice to stay in that sacred space where, in this new earth is something that would be very, very needful, not to take sides and become polarized, because this was something that's always been around, the polarity in all 4 teacher worlds. So, and I also wanted to say that, I do contribute sharing things that I make with my neighbors or my friends or something like that. One of the things that I like to share with my neighbors is I bake bread on a regular basis, and it doesn't matter who I share it with, they always seem to love the flavor of this one particular recipe that I have. And I've yet to find someone say no if I wanted to share a loaf of bread with them, because it's such a delicious recipe. and I've held on to that recipe, and I make it on a regular basis, especially in the winter time, because it feels like a comfort food. And I feel like that's one of the things that I also contribute to this world. And it's like breaking bread. It brings peace, it brings joy, it brings happiness, it brings comfort. And that's a contribution to the whole. And I think that's something that no one can dispute, really. Those are feelings that we would all like to have in the new world, in the fifth world of peace. And the other thing is that what Irina was saying before, that there would be pockets of reality in this new world, where there'll be some pockets that would be heavily into technology, and then there will be pockets that will not use technology. But it doesn't matter. It will still contribute to a more peaceful world and a greener world. And I'm hoping to see that in the new world, the places that are deserts right now may become greener, because such a large part of our Earth's space is covered with desert sand, and it's contributing, yes, to the world, but it's so much empty space that perhaps we'll find ways how to utilize that dry place and make it into a greener space. And this is what I'm hoping to see in the new world.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for
I think I talked enough.
No, and also I want to say, you know, I do every single one of you here, and of course, Lana, you've been here for a long time. The contributions that you guys make on a weekly basis, that is definitely something we can all acknowledge, right? And I think we do this on a weekly basis, you know, because that is really, really important. And I also like what you said about the grounding. You know, baking bread is such a grounding thing to do. And I think it's a gift that you can do this, because I can't, you know, this is one of those things, like, make cookies for me. And I'm like, yeah, wow, did you make them yourself? Because I don't do this anymore. I used to cook a lot, but no, this is such a huge thing, and it's such a feminine thing, and it's such a nourishing and nurturing thing. So I really like that grounding energy. Yes. The bread. Yes. Extraordinary. Superb.
I would say, now will she share the recipe though?
No,
since she's not close enough to bake it for us, will she share us the recipe?
Send it to me. Send it to me.
I have shared it with others, but what I found is that it doesn't matter if I share the recipe or not. It's like everything. It's practice, practice, practice. It took me
not only
years
that, but it's your love that you're
practicing.
putting in it too, Lana.
Yes. But what I'm saying, it took me years of practice to get this one single recipe perfect, where now I can make it with confidence and share it. But before, it was not like that. It took quite a few years to get it right. And it wasn't even my recipe. I got the recipe from a magazine, and I decided to try it out.
You made it your own.
I stuck with it. Yes.
Yeah. And that's the number 10, isn't it? Gifts exponentialized by your zero. Creativity and gifts. Don't think for 1 second you have to take shit out of thin air. Yeah. Allow yourself to read stuff. Use word salads from other people. We talked about this. Make it your own, because as soon as you add your frequency, your signature to it, it is alchemized and it becomes yours. You earn the right to call it yours, as if we need that, but some people need permission.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, right now I would like to say it's mine, I can share the recipe, yes, but as I said, with everything, it takes years of practice to get it to a place where, you know, you can perfect it.
Absolutely.
And sometimes sharing the recipe doesn't mean that what is created then will be what you create, but it'll share a seed that will then allow perhaps a new creation to come forth for someone who, like Martina says, doesn't have any bread recipes and has never really baked them. So, you know, it would be, you know, a chance to start a new strain. Baking bread.
Baking bread. I love that. Before we're going to move
Yeah,
on.
I remember. Look, I remember last school year, when my son was about to graduate, because of COVID and all that, the school was closed, and not closed, but they tightened all the you know, the rules around school, and you couldn't freely go to the school anymore. And I used to be able to do that. So I said they have two secretaries in the school, and they're both really nice women. And I said to them, I'm going to do something. I said to myself, I'm going to do something once a month to make their day once a month. And what I did was that I said, I am going to bake bread once a month and take a loaf each to each of these secretaries until the end of the school year. So I started to do that out of my own free will. And I continued to do that every single month during the COVID period until the school year ended. So that was also my contribution to the Fifth World of Peace, so that they can see that by example, that they might think about it later on and think, oh, you know, that one mother, she did this. Maybe I should do something for my neighbor, or maybe a friend or somebody like that, you know. So that's a contribution to expand the love and the hugs in the world. I couldn't hug them, but I could give them a loaf of bread. That was my hug each month to them, my contribution each month to them.
Fabulous.
So it's just the simple things that we do that we don't realize that we do, that's adding to the world to make it a better place.
Exactly. And this is why and you've just picked out of my head now the next question that I had. So I just want to hold on to one more thing. Anyone who hasn't shared yet, who would like to share their contribution, who is on here? To the earth, to the new earth. You can take it from what is it that you're doing right now, or what do you actually already see that you haven't acknowledged within yourself. It's almost like a little bit of a mirror principle here. I do, since Tanya, we've got Tanya back on. She said something earlier on. Tanya, you said something, how to walk through space and time.
I like what Irina was saying about, you know, when you're in this multi-dimensional being that is you, you know, we're all time travelers. And there was a story that I remembered about the Buddha when he became enlightened, and he started working with his DNA skin suit, and he was witnessed on one side of the river, and then he was on the other side of the river. So I just always have this like lovely idea about what New Earth looks like. I have friends and family all over the world, and I just dream about in the future being able to take a step and be present, right, in that, in someone else's space, in someone else's time, right? And we do this, right, in dream time, but to do it in the physical real time would be just extraordinary, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. So that's an introduction. You just introduced us to the galactic citizenship that we're all, you know, empowering ourselves towards, the crystallization process, that we will be able to have so much don't want to call control, but knowingness on how to adapt our bodies. As we all know, in this, embodied spirituality, we're going to take our bodies with us to go on to those travels and to really understand, have a much better understanding. We will have much better understanding what time travel actually is, how easy it is. I mean, there are different levels of it, but how easy by location, we already doing it. And this is the thing, we just have to, again, and I want that Zoom to also serve the purpose to remind ourselves we're already in it. Yeah. It's not really just happening. We have to wait now for the bloody solstice and stuff. No, this is all about getting clarity on it. So one question, and then we're going to do a little exercise. One question, what can you do today? And that's what Lana already took away. You know, she already said her bit with the bread. What can you do today? Remember, we're creating the future by the choices that we make in the present moment. What can you do today, no matter how small or big? And you don't even have to say it, just think it. That will create that new earth that you are already seeing, that you are remembering, that you're visualizing, that you're imagining it. What's the one thing, the one choice that you can make today that will create that?
Be less serious, dance and laugh and elevate yourself instead of being so serious all the time.
Very good. Anyone else?
For me, really hugging my dog.
Hugging your dog.
I mean, the unconditional love that we experience from our animals, and just this idea of the animals are already there, right? This energy of the lion laying down with the lamb. There was a video, and you can see all kinds of images about different species of animals befriending each other and packing together and riding each other and sitting with their arms around each other. And there was an extraordinary video on YouTube that came out, I don't know, 6 months ago or something, of a lioness that rescued an orphan baby antelope.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the lionesses are the hunters. I mean, which lioness wouldn't want that for a great lunch? But she, it was a newborn baby that she became friends with and became part of their pride. I mean, what? Extraordinary.
Children and animals leading the way. Biggest teachers out there, right?
Exactly. And what I do now, I just realized listening to you guys, I hold that as reality, that vision as reality, not like a fairy tale or some future or some past or some myth, like reality.
Fabulous.
This is a vibration.
Yeah. I'm going to add to this, but keep on facilitating empowerment so that we can finally get that key of non-judgment, of total allowance. So we can tap all of us into that, what Irina just said. This is one of my gifts here, the created unity field, and to keep on facilitating from a non-ego place to allow everyone to get into that place of non-judgment and apply it to myself. Have a glass of wine without thinking, oh my God, I shouldn't be drinking this or eating this or doing that. Yeah.
One of the things in listening to everybody and Irene speak to is one of the things of creating it is to acknowledge that it exists now, and that it already is there. And as Irina was, bringing us all into it a couple of weeks ago, and we all know it on different levels, probably. But to know that it is there, and we can talk to that vibrational part of us that's there and say, help guide me there, you know, so that I can join through the storm already. You know, we've passed the storm. We're embracing what is now. We're allowing the old to dissipate. We're, you know, and the pockets, yes, because, you know, like vibrations, you know, pockets of like vibration are gathering together now, you know, and sometimes we're gathering together through the ethers and through the internet, but physically too. But yeah, it's like embracing that it is already here and that we're just allowing ourselves to glimpse it a little bit more, you know, and the more that we can go with that vibration of new possibilities or you know, nothing from the old, that is, and that it's there, and that I just have to wait a minute, I just want to wipe a little more of this crud from my eyes. All right, yeah, it is there, and the more that we embrace that, the fact that I'm seeing a little bit more of it every day, I'm feeling a little bit more of it every day, wow, I'm hearing it come from, you know, the more we can do that every day of acknowledging that it already does exist, we then give it permission for us to more fully see it, be it, acknowledge that it's here, you know what I mean?
So let's get right to it. Let's do exactly that. Let's do some bilocations. So some of us already there. Some of us just gonna do a little bilocation there. Bilocation, you can be here and there. Take your bodies with you. It's not gonna be a visualization, okay? Because that would be too limiting. What I want you to do, I want you to just get some imagery up, what this new earth looks like for you, and you're going to be in it. Get that picture up. What is it going to look like? So if Jen and I would be drawing it, what would we be drawing? Don't make it too difficult for me, but Jen is good. So what would we have to draw in order to join you there? And just think along those lines. So it's not a guided thing. Just think of that, and that imagery I want you to keep working with through the next couple of days, weeks. So just when we talk about New York, what does it look like? What does it look like? Where are you? What are you doing? Don't talk just yet. Just get that image up. What is it you see? What is it you hear? What is it you smell? What is it you feel? Any of those values we talked about, those new energies or old energies, are they there already? What is there in addition that we haven't acknowledged yet? Are there any people? Animals? Make a note of the color, the colors. And I want you to look a bit more in detail. What are you actually standing on or sitting on? Now look what's on top of you. I want you to take a step to the left now. So if you're sitting, stand up, take a step to the left, and then tell me, how does the picture change? Don't tell me, just get it for yourself. It may expand or it may not. Just get a sense of it. Perceive what's going on there. And step back. Take a step to the right. Just one step. You may or may not be surprised how the picture changes. What happens to the people, to the animals, to the colors, to the surrounding, the sound, the feeling. Step back. Take a step back. Just one step backwards. What happens to the picture of this new earth of yours? No judgment. Just explore the changes. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And step back. We're going to take one step forward now. Get a sense what that creates. As you're going through this exercise, tell me again that you're not a potent creator. Or step back. In fact, step into that picture that worked for you the best. Backwards, forwards, left or right. Whichever one that is. Just choose it. Then take that picture and frame it. Put a nice little frame around it. It may actually change the picture. So if you don't like a frame, then don't frame it. See how that goes. I just wanted you to really focus and put your intention on it. And then I want you to take that picture to the side, put it to the side for a moment. And then imagine, or just have a look, in fact, just have a look where your future is. Is it in front of you or to the back? To the left or the right? And for the purpose of this exercise, I want you, all of you, take the future in front of you. Think of it as a timeline. You got the future to the front. You got the past to the back. And that timeline, put it right through your heart. It's going through the body, through the heart. Future to the front. Good. And then again, I want you to just imagine that you're floating up so you can actually look down on yourself. Future to the front, past in the back. Grab a hold of your picture. Now we're going to float out into the future. If you don't need to float, if you're already there, then don't worry about that. And it can be tomorrow, it can be next week, next year, 200 years. Take that picture with you, and as you float out into the future, whenever it feels right for you, it feels light for you, just drop that picture down onto your timeline. And just watch it as it goes down, integrates, right on that timeline in that future that you've chosen. And just remember, you can always change it, of course. But all the events that are leading up to that, you being there in that picture, are rearranging themselves. You can see that now to make that happen. Just watch it settle down. And then float back, come back into your body fully if you did leave it. Job done. Seat is seated. Planted. And then just open your eyes again, be back in the room. It's that simple, it's that easy. Attention back to the Zoom. Couple more minutes here. How did that feel? What did that look like? Anyone wants to share? And don't feel forced. You don't have to share.
Do you remember that movie, What Dreams May Come, with Robin Williams?
Yep.
That's what it reminded me of, like where the scenes could just change on a whim and it would be like a painting that you could walk into. It was beautiful.
Good. That potency of one step, don't ever forget that. How quickly the imagery changes. Irina.
You're totally right. It is feeling I am creator. Without me putting it into possibility and experience, it doesn't exist. And when you asked step to the left, step to the right, it's empty without me putting something there. When I did step to the left, it was really empty. And then I was like, interesting, I didn't put anything. Then when you asked to the right, I already were prepared to have something there. And it was continuation of the picture, unfoldment. It was so confirming. We are creators, really. Without us bringing what we want, what we feel, what we sense, what we know about our life, it's not happening. And we need to acknowledge that we can bring more and more from our inner knowing into this now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And again, I'm returning to Shobha message about stopping time. This is that gift that we all received now in this time. Time stopped, really, it's stopped. It's not moving without you expanding on or contracting that time and putting anything you want into any second of your time, It is not collective time anymore. It doesn't exist. I don't see it. I don't perceive it. It's your personal time for everyone now. And this is that gift that we have now in this 2021. Thank you for meditation. Wonderful reminder. Wonderful. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And how easy was that? Now, that picture will evolve. Keep it with you. When you meditate, have a little look. What does it look like now? You know, what can I add to it? And keep on stepping. And you can do this with, just like Irina said, any vision is not bloody vision if we're not making it real. And what you guys just did, you made it real in your heads, in your bodies, because everything was there. You were there, literally. You time traveled. That's how easy time travel is. Yeah. Don't need a bloody time machine for that. Took us what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? That's the potency that we're talking about. And this is what the new earth is all about. Now, will we be able to get out of corruption? Will we be able to get out of wars? Will the technology? Yeah, all of that. Yeah, of course. But it all starts in our backyard. Every single one of us has to become the leader to look after themselves, look after their health, look after the vehicle that we've chosen, the body. And then the signature frequencies will find each other, just like here. New people will come into your life. Old people will fall away. Key is non-judgment. Let them go if they want to go. They will come back. See, this is the thing with choices. It's not, you don't just choose once. You continuously, perpetually choose. You can always change your mind, right? Mm-hmm. Have to let go of all of that, back into empowerment. Thank you so much for being here with me. I really enjoyed that. Thanks for coming on, girls, for playing, boys. Paul, we don't know you, but thanks for coming on. Iris, I'm going to let you go and we'll see how the energy develops if we want to do something. Is anyone around next week? Because I think it's going to, what is today? So it's going to be the 22nd. Is that too close to Christmas? Nope. You happy to come on?
I'll probably be around.
Yeah. Will you
Yeah.
make us some bread, please?
Sure.
Show us a bloody picture of it.
I'll sit here and eat.
We can eat it. We can pretend. We know how to do that.
Telepathic.
Yeah. I wanted to say hi to Paul. Yes, I think he wanted to maybe contribute something. Paul, would you like to say hello?
Yeah, I've been similar disciple of Andrew's work, and it's been very effective for me. So I thought I would join here and contribute and listen. But some of the things came to mind, Martina, were for my own personal processes, the illuminated repetition. So this process of visualization or experiential visualization really is, for my purposes, is driven by this consistent, repetitive, illuminated practice for me every day. And your statements will help me enhance the process I'm going through. So thanks for that. But yeah, for me, it's that schedule. That's how I'm able to function in my life effectively. Is to stick to a certain repetitive schedule that occurs for me, it's better in the morning time, but it's good. Again, that illuminated repetition is anything is possible.
Well, thanks for reminding us for that illumination through repetition. Yeah. Just because the picture changes doesn't mean that we are not getting the illumination, because the repetition comes through the daily application of looking at it. Yeah. So, and having a certain time to remind ourselves is pretty much what we're doing here as well, Paul, because we've been doing this since the 1st of April, 2020. So this would be I looked it up, it should be our 82nd show today. So we're doing repetition, illumination through repetition. And of course, there is repetition, right? Because we keep on talking, everything is empowerment that we're doing here, getting out of victimhood and aggressorhood, getting into empowerment. It just has so many different faces, right? And so many different components. But thank you very much for reminding us for that. Yeah, we need to take time aside. This is our sacred honoring that time. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Paul. Now I hope we see you again soon on one of those shows. And we look forward to your contributions, and the same for Iris. Is there anyone who wants to do any closing words before we're going to shoot off? Good. Then thank you very much.
Yes. Let me say something. Blessed are the peacemakers, and bake a lot of bread so we can share the bread.
I like it.
Amen.
To all the world, to all the peacemakers and world bridges. World bridges, I hope. Cheers, guys. I'll see you probably next week then. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.